Hello everyone, it is Jayden and welcome to The Alpha, the show where we talk about the hottest topics in pop culture and sports. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button on the video, and if you enjoy my commentary and myself truly as always, be sure to tap that subscribe button and to hit that notification bell to get notified when all my videos go live. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya. And speaking of the Big Blue Boy Scout, we are going to go ahead and discuss Superman's second weekend at the box office. This is something that a lot of people have been waiting to mind. We know with these comic book movies, it's very front loaded. Everybody who is fans of Superman, fans of DC, fans of the character, they're going to go see the movie its first weekend. And, you know, in the second weekend, it's going to be a drop, but sometimes it can be a massive drop, or it could be a relatively reasonable drop in the second weekend. And I'm going to use Luis Fernando as a source because he's pretty good at breaking down these box office projections. And he had some things to say about Superman, which is very positive. And we're going to get to it together. As expected, updated Sunday figures almost 1.5 higher for Superman at the highest grossing comic book movie of 2025 and number 4 fastest DC film to cross 200 million at the US box office. Super 58.5 million on number 5 biggest second 3-day weekend in DC history. Strong Legs just a 53.2% drop from opening weekend to the second weekend. The number 3 biggest second weekend of 2025, crushing Rebirth's 40.3 million, and is slightly under Minecraft and Lilo and Stitch. So that's very good. Superman performed better in his second weekend than Jurassic World did, and it just was slightly under Minecraft, which is a $980 million movie that's going to fall short of $1 billion, and slightly under Lilo and Stitch that went on and became a $1 billion movie. It's the biggest second weekend ever for any film featuring Superman. It even beat out Batman v Superman. Superman hit a $236.3 million cum in the US, beating Captain America Brave New World's $200.5 million run as the highest grossing comic book movie and number 6 highest grossing film of 2025 in just 10 days. It had a top 5 biggest second opening weekend for a DC film, and it was 4th. Well, actually, it was 5th, and it was up under Wonder Woman, The Dark Knight Rises, The Batman, and The Dark Knight. Second weekend drops for DC films in the 21st century. It did better than a lot of the DCU films that to date. And right now, he is saying that Superman is eyeing a $370 to $405 million run in the US. And I think this is pretty much the same tweet. So far, Superman has done better than the 5 past DCEU movies. Right now, it's only 4. It's going to pass Aquaman here in just a couple of days, because Aquaman ended up having $500 million. It's going to pass Aquaman. Superman is going to perform better than the last 5 installments of the DCEU. It has done better than the last 2 installments of the MCU in the Thunderbolts and Captain America Brave New World. Now, when we talk about that, it's not a huge flex, in my opinion. I know a lot of people have been throwing that around, because I heard some people's like, if you would guess 2 or 3 years ago when Superman was announced, that you would think that in the same year, the 2 MCU movies that were released before the movie came out, that Superman would perform better than it. A lot of people were throwing that around, but those 2 movies were Captain America featuring Sam Wilson, and it was a Thunderbolts film that a lot of people were not interested in. So I wouldn't call that a big major flex to begin with. But this is all you could have asked for in a reboot. It really is. A 50% drop is phenomenal domestically. Although this movie is doing horribly bad internationally, horribly bad, and that is what is inevitably going to kill the movie from breaking even, because the break-even point, and a lot of people have said this, has been the $700 million mark. The movie has to get a 7 in front of it in order for you to break even and potentially make a profit. It's crossed $400 million at the moment. The budget was $225. Marketing, they've said, is roughly $125. We all know, in order to pretty much make a profit, you got to make at least 2 times that. And in order to get to that number, you got to break the 7 mark. And I don't think Superman's going to get to that. We'll discuss that in a minute. But overall, with these numbers and going into this weekend and how phenomenal it performed in the middle of the week as well, you got to be happy. Because of what I've said in the past, with the baggage that Superman came with, this is just phenomenal. And there was a good analogy that somebody brought up on the John Campea show, and I'm going to give that person credit for that. He pretty much compared this box office experience for Superman to Batman Begins. Batman coming off the horrible George Clooney movie, going into the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman Begins, Christopher Nolan's first Batman film. The movie did not do well in the box office at all. Batman Begins was not a huge hit. If I'm not mistaken, I think the budget, it only ended up making $375 million at the box office. Compared to the next film, The Dark Knight, went on to be $1 billion movie. So the Batman movie ended up making 30% of what The Dark Knight ended up making. The spread in that is just drastic. But that movie, the Batman Begins, was the movie to give people a breath of fresh air. Introduce them to something new. Get positive word of mouth, positive critic score, positive audience score. That's what Batman Begins did, and made a sequel and went on to make a Dark Knight movie that ended up making $1 billion. Superman knocked those 3 questions and checked those boxes. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that whatever sequel is coming up for Superman, and James Gunn has even said that the possible Superman sequel that we're going to get is not going to be a direct like Superman 2 or anything like that. But you're telling me that, and I know it's probably not going to be Supergirl, but we may see another DC movie along the lines go on to make $700, $800, $900 million. Now, we got to look at it in this aspect. People are not going to the movies as much like they did when The Dark Knight came out, 2008. So, what, almost 17 years ago? Not many people are going to the movies like they did 17 years ago. There's not been good comic book movies coming out, and I know people are talking about superhero fatigue. There's no such thing as superhero fatigue. It's bad movie fatigue. So, given that we have Superman, great all around the board, positive reviews everywhere, although we got you got some people who are calling it polarizing and dividing audiences. You have that aspect of it. But it's mostly been positive to the average ongoing moviegoer. And then we have just got Fantastic Four. Positive. Great reviews so far. Just that has to be wait to be seen. So comic book movies at the moment, we're starting off pretty good. Hopefully we can ride this wave for the next couple of years, leading into next year with Avengers Doomsday, next year with Supergirl. And we can hopefully get a comic book movie to get back and make $1 billion. That is not a Batman or a Spider-Man movie. So, in totality, when you look at Superman's second week in the box office, it's an absolute hit. It's very good. Now, it's not going to be a hit in the box office when it ends. It's not. Superman's just not going to be a hit. And back to the $700 million thing, I don't think it's going to get $700 million. Now, this fella here, who is Luis Fernando, who is pretty much the guy who's getting the box office numbers for all these films, he is saying that $600 million is a lock. And his projection is between $640 million to $700 million by the time its box office is over with. I know a lot of people are throwing around the idea, which a lot of them are MCU lovers, And they literally were talking about how biased they were yesterday. I'm not going to name who the people are, the YouTubers were, but I was watching them. And they were pretty much along the lines like this movie will be good enough to get a 5 in its box office run, $500 million. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, guys, the movie is already at $405, $409 million in 2 weeks. So you're telling me it's going to struggle in the next, 3 or 4 weeks is going to be in the box office to get $100 million? How? In what world? And I know a lot of people like John Kempy and everybody else. Competition is not a bad thing. If people enjoyed Fantastic Four, they're going to be probably like, oh, you know what? Let's go see Superman. Why not? I really do think this movie is going to get a 6 in front of it. Now, I don't think it's going to get $700 million. And I don't think, well, now that I think about it, I think Superman could actually perform better than Fantastic Four overall. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm not going to make that projection yet, but still, Superman isn't going to break even at $700 million. It's just not. But I do think that this film is going to get to the 600 mark, and it's going to be a success either way. It's a huge win. People are invested in your universe. People like me are invested in your universe, who is fans of DC. And hopefully, you can get some of the Marvel audience as well, because a lot of people who enjoy the MCU loved what DC has got going on. And that was the ultimate goal. So, Superman had, in my opinion, I know some may not consider it great, but I think that Superman had a great second week at the box office. Granted, it's going to be hard to make money because it's losing its IMAX screens to Fantastic Four and some like Dolby Cinema and stuff like that. But still, a lot of kids who are in school, who are not in school for the summer, walking up to the ticket booth and saying, Mom, Grandpa, Grandma, can I go see Superman? And they're going to continue to go see the film. Obviously, people who are going to want to go see Superman again, which I am one of those. I think I'm going to go see it for a third time. They're going to want to continue to go see the movie. So, I do think there is a situation where Superman's going to get $200 more million. And worldwide, it's going to end, I think it will end its run around 630, 640 million, just shy of 700. I'm looking and hoping to see what this week holds, given that it's going to be a new week. With the Fantastic Four being out, just to see what type of percentage drop we're going to get. Because right now we know the Marvel fans are going to show out for the Fantastic Four. Not like they did for Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolts, because Fantastic Four, widely known family, okay? Widely known. They are more modern art, like non-comic book fans and even people who are not hardcore Marvel fans know who the Fantastic Four are, because it's one of the main characters in the Marvel Universe, main families in the Marvel Universe. So people are going to go see the film. And with the positive word of mouth that it may possibly get, we're just going to have to wait and see. It's going to perform well. So we're going to have to see how that affects Superman. But I still think that it is good to have competition for Superman. A lot of people are thinking that the idea of just because Fantastic Four is in the box office, that all of a sudden, oh, Superman is dead. No, it's not. It is a good time to have competition at the box office. And I can say this because I was one of those when they originally announced the release date for Superman. Because originally, Superman and Fantastic Four were coming out on the same weekend at first. And then I think Marvel just moved it back 2 weeks. Just, you don't want to have that going on the same weekend. But it is good to have competition. Because I have been one of those. Again, I didn't finish my sentence. I was one of those who said it was an idiotic idea to have Superman released the same month as the Fantastic Four. But in hindsight, now that we're here, I think it's a great idea. So all these people that's sitting here thinking that, Superman coming out in the box office the same week as Fantastic Four, it's going to kill Superman, straight eat its lunch. It's not. Okay, Superman, especially domestically, is a widely known and loved comic book character, way more popular than the Fantastic Four. Granted, the MCU is more popular than DC will ever be at the moment, But I still think that competition is good, and there is a possibility that Fantastic Four may help out Superman at the box office, because both films right now seem to be pretty good. And it's a hopeful turn for comic book movies. But anyways, guys, what did you guys think of the numbers for Superman? Did you think they were good? Do you think Superman is going to get $600 million? Because I do. Do you think Superman will continue to perform well? Do you think it's going to have legs going into its third weekend? I want to know all of your comments down below.